Well, that was quite the ride and quite the explosive finish to that film. I'm back with Max Allan Collins, who I should note, in addition, he was too humble to say this at the intro. Max has a great place in Mickey Spillane's legacy because Spillane actually chose him to. I'll see if I can hold this up without getting revived. Actually chose Max to finish his unfinished novels. So that one I just showed, Kill Me Darling, Mickey Spillane and Max Allan Collins. And there are a few of those, the Goliath Bone and a few others. Max, let's talk about the history of this ending. Because when this film was originally released, the end was just the beach house exploding. Why don't you pick it up from there and say what the reality was?
It's somewhat mysterious because apparently this ending that we saw today was seen in some theaters because different people have different memories of this. I do know that on television, it was always the abrupt ending that was very negative. And then apparently when I think you know the exact ins and outs of how it came to be, but Robert Aldrich had the real version in his vault, as I understand it, and was not really aware that the movie had gone out in this particular fashion. And so I think was very glad to have the whole thing restored. It's something like a minute and a half, all of Mike and Velda escaping and standing in the water. Now I can't imagine that being that close to that explosion would have been terribly good for their health, but they did not die. And I can promise you can't kill my camera. So one little nuke is not gonna do that much.
Yes, yeah, exactly. One little nuclear blast is totally insufficient to kill Mike Hammer. So let me ask you this, Max, since you are a Mike Hammer expert, how do you feel about the various actors who have played the part? What's your take on who was the best Mike Hammer, and just tell us who they've been?
I was once called by a teacher a sloppy appreciator, which means you like too much. But I actually like almost all the Mike Hammers. I think Biff Elliott is very underrated. I like Darren McGavin very much. He resembled Mickey. He brought a little humor to it. Shows very tough if you watch those shows from the late 50s. I think Armin Asante was excellent, very tough. And I think Stacy, was really his couple of generations, Mike Hammer. He really brought a lot of charisma to the part and a lot of panache and humor, again, humor. But now there's really only two that are in the upper tier. One of them is Mickey Spillane himself in The Girl Hunters. And he, you get to see how he thought it should be played, and that's something unique. I'm going to agree with Mickey, though, that the best Mike Hammer after Mickey Spillane was Ralph Meeker.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. Hey, very quickly, I want to talk about the women in this film because they're very, yes. It's kind of unique to have so many distinctive and unusual female characters in this type of story. But they're amazing from the very beginning when Cloris Leachman appears running down the road, through Maxine Cooper and Marion Carr and Gabby Rogers, who plays the little pixie from hell. This is quite a crew. What's your take on women in this film and then in Spillane in general?
I think it was really kind of brave for Aldrich to put in such quirky, again, as you say, distinctive women. And I think it is one of the reasons why the film works so well. And Cloris Leachman is amazing in that opening. I mean, she brings so much to it. She commands the screen for the first, 5 minutes of that movie. And Maxine Cooper, basically, as Velda, is the voice of reason in the movie. But she can, just like us, she loves Mike Hammer.
Yeah. Okay, so this was a lot of fun, Max. I really am happy that you were able to join us, and I enjoyed it so much. I think I would love to have you come back. So I think we should do this again.
I would love to. Okay. Thank you, Eddie.
All right. Everybody, if you have not read Max's books, please do that. You are in for a treat. And then come back next week when I will be showing a personal favorite, Belita, starring with Barry Sullivan in the very unusual Monogram $1 million production of Suspense. You do not want to miss that. So we'll see you back here next week. Take care.